Michael Schumacher and Ferrari, Ayrton Senna and McLaren, Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. These iconic partnerships created dynasties and shaped the world of Formula One around them for many years. But all dynasties must end eventually. Senna went to Williams, Schumacher retired before joining Mercedes, and Hamilton tried to break free of Mercedes. Today, you'll learn about Hamilton's attempts to find a team capable of giving him that 8th World Drivers' Championship he so desperately wants. Spoiler alert, it was in the unlikeliest of places. Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes contract became a massive saga over the winter break after the 2022 season. At every race after the summer break in 2022, Toto Wolff would go to the media and say that Hamilton was on the brink of signing a new contract, apparently convinced that all it needed was the two of them to actually sit down with pen and paper to make it official. As the season dragged on, these media appearances became an embarrassment, as he was asked every week why no deal had happened yet, when he said it would. You see, Hamilton was out of contract at the end of 2023, and with Mercedes' poor performance in 2022, many thought he would either retire or move teams. The embarrassment built for Toto as he continued to say week in and week out that Hamilton was happy and that they were one meeting away from the contract being signed. No one was fooled though. They worked together on a daily basis. Surely they could find 15 minutes to sign a few bits of paper. As the season wrapped up, Wolff flipped the script, saying that they wanted to wait until the winter so they could do it away from the media that follows the sport around the world. If that had been the story all along, then it would have been perfectly believable. But after months of saying the announcement of a contract extension for Lewis was days away, it sounded more like desperation. Things were obviously not what they seemed behind the scenes at Mercedes, and after Hamilton's first ever winless season, he was obviously unhappy. Lewis's media appearances back this up as well. He had almost nothing good to say about the Mercedes car or team in 2022. But Mercedes were given the benefit of the doubt over the winter of 2022-23. Then, when preseason practice for the 23 season started again, the same questions were asked. Where is Hamilton's contract extension? Lewis is the most successful driver in F1 history. His retirement would have been massive news. Toto had said the new contract would be done over the winter, but it wasn't. Everyone knew something was wrong, and with Wolff showering Hamilton with praise in the media, it was clear he was trying to sweet-talk his golden ticket into signing on for a few more years. In the end, Toto's suffering was ended in late August, and Mercedes announced that Lewis would be staying on for 2 more years, with a contract worth roughly $62 million a season. Toto could finally sleep easily, and he had great fun telling the media that I told you so. But we all knew that something more was going on behind the scenes. Either Mercedes had to convince Lewis that it was worth staying because they could be competitive, or Lewis didn't think they would be competitive and was looking elsewhere. Like an overprotective parent, Toto wasn't ready to let his golden goose fly the nest. But was it ever really his choice if Lewis stayed or left? In a shocking interview with the English newspaper The Daily Mail, Christian Horner has pulled back the curtain on the whole story and showed the world that maybe the Mercedes brotherhood isn't as tight as Toto likes to say it is. With Hamilton insisting in public that Mercedes was the only team he ever wanted to drive for, Horner's revelation showed the truth behind the ruthless world of Formula One. Speaking about Lewis's contract extension with Mercedes, the Red Bull boss said, "We've had several conversations over the years about Lewis joining. They, meaning Lewis's management team, have reached out a few times. Most recently, earlier in the year, there was an inquiry about whether there would be any interest. But I can't see Max and Lewis working out together. The dynamic wouldn't be right. We're 100% happy with what we have." Seeing Lewis and Max on the same team would have been a dream come true for the two partisan fan groups. I still see the fallout from the 2021 season and the Abu Dhabi finale in our comment section. Arguments over who is the better driver are rarely civil, but seeing them in the same car, racing against each other in the same machinery, would truly answer that argument once and for all. After all, the person Formula One drivers want to beat the most is their own teammate. Horner wouldn't divulge who contacted him. If it wasn't Lewis himself that made contact, then it comes down to 2 candidates: his New York-based manager, Penny Thau, and his father, Anthony. Thau, who is the founder and chief executive of Cooper, a company that specializes in entertainment, media, fashion, sports, technology, and philanthropy, is now Hamilton's chief of staff. She keeps a low profile around Formula One, though she attends most races. For the last couple of years, she's been Lewis's closest advisor and lieutenant, and points him nicely towards business interests beyond the track. It isn't just the Red Bull door that Lewis's team went knocking at in search of a more competitive team though. The rumours of Hamilton moving to Ferrari were rampant earlier this year, and they were well founded it turns out. Horner said, he met John Elkann, the Ferrari chairman too. I think there were serious talks. It was around Monaco in May. There were definitely conversations, perhaps with Vasseur too, but certainly with Elkann. Lewis isn't the first driver to say it is a dream to drive for the Scuderia, and he won't be the last either. Though Ferrari has struggled this season, they seem to be moving in the right direction now, something that can't be said about his own team Mercedes. A move to Ferrari may have seemed to be a mistake earlier this season, but looking ahead to 2024, Ferrari are current favourites to challenge Red Bull. It was in late May after Monaco that stories about a potential move to Ferrari worth around $50 million a year emerged. At the time, some claimed that the stories were leaked by Lewis's own team to negotiate more money out of Mercedes. Whether this is true or not, Mercedes would end up paying Lewis over $10 million a year more than what Ferrari offered. After Horner's revealing interview though, we now know that the Ferrari offer could have been very real. The thought of Hamilton alongside Leclerc at Ferrari is a tempting proposition, though certainly not as exciting as seeing Max and Lewis in the same garage. And while Horner's interview has illuminated Formula One's shady underbelly once again, his comments perhaps shouldn't be all that surprising. It would be more surprising to discover that Lewis hadn't explored the possibility of driving for a team other than Mercedes. After all, as a Formula One driver, you have to look out for yourself. In Lewis's case, his goal to secure that 8th World Championship title, and numerically at least, claim the crown as the greatest Formula One driver in the sport's history. If he thought that Mercedes weren't the best team to help him achieve that goal, then he would certainly have been looking elsewhere. Considering Mercedes' lack of progress on the ground effect cars, he's probably right to think that the Silver Arrows are no longer the right place for him. The idea of Max and Lewis racing on the same team is mouth-watering, especially considering some of the comments they've made about each other in the past. According to Hamilton, none of Max's teammates have provided anywhere near the same challenge as Lewis's have to him. In my personal opinion, all my teammates have been stronger than the teammates Max has had. Jensen, Fernando, George, Valtteri, Nico. I've had so many. These guys have all been very, very strong, very consistent, and Max has not raced against anyone like that. Max obviously didn't appreciate Hamilton's comments about his success, nor his teammates, and accused the Mercedes driver of being jealous. Maybe he's a little jealous of my current success, Verstappen said. This kind of statement, he possibly thinks he's winning something with that, but it makes no difference to me. I think Mercedes have a hard time dealing with losing after all these years of winning so much. At some point, you have to be realistic, and then you have to be able to appreciate what other teams are doing. You can keep shouting and screaming that what we do is not that special. You just have to deal with yourself. Comparing their teammates is never going to be an easy task. Is a prime Daniel Ricciardo better than George Russell or Valtteri Bottas? No one's going to say that the man that Lewis forgot to mention, Heikki Kovalainen, is better than the Honey Badger or even Checo, are they? Perhaps when both of their careers are over, we can take a look at the history of both drivers and decide who really had the hardest time achieving the incredible success they both have. Are you surprised that Hamilton tried to find a way out of Mercedes? And would you have preferred him to go to Ferrari or Red Bull? Let me know your pick in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.